Wait, 2 minutes left. So, magsisimula na po tayo. So, isang mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat. Tinatawagan ko po si Binibini Sahadan para simulan ang ating panalangin para sa araw na ito. Bago pumasok si Ma'am Sahadani, pinapakilala ko po ang aking sarili. Ako nga po pala si Nurjana Wahi. Isasamahan ko po ay sina Abdullah Jid, si Ma'am Roxin at si Ma'am Donya Jolina.
Okay, good afternoon class and good afternoon also to Ma'am Wahi. Okay, so A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Arrahmanir rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin.
Amin. So maraming salamat. Ngayon po ay isang mapagpalang araw ulit sa ating lahat. Ari nyo bang buksan ang inyong mga kamera upang makita ko naman ang mga naggagandahan nyong mga mukha? Para sa ating attendance ngayon, Tarabasa, ikaw po ang magkuha ng attendance natin sa araw na ito. And bago natin simulan ang ating talakayan sa araw na ito ay ayusin ang inyong mga sarili. Ito ang gusto namin manatiling bukas ang inyong camera hanggang matapos ang course natin at huwag kalimutang on. Okay po ba? At kung may mga katanungan, maaari mo pong gamitin ang ating comment section, mga katanungan. At amin po itong sagutan ng mainam. Okay na po ba? So bago ang lahat, ay mayroon po kaming gustong ipagawa sa inyo, which is may konektado siya sa gagawin nating leksyon sa araw na ito. Sige po, stay tuned. So, yung gagawin natin is guess me. Ang 5 makakahula ng may correct na answer ay may malaking punto silang makukuha. Explain kung ano ba yung satindihan niya doon sa words na yon. Naka-record lahat, basta lahat mag-participate. So, handa na po ba ang lahat? Ipin po ang comment section. Okay na ba ang lahat?
Yes.
Opo.
Handa na po ba ang lahat? Parang wala kasing walang energy.
Yes, ma'am. Handong-hando, no?
Okay. Thank you. Meron na po bang nakakuha ng sagot?
Okay, so the 5 first person who got the correct answer is Jimenez, Siason, Darulo, Ventolero, and Bacchus.
Mainam. Pumili ka doon ng isa na mag-explain.
I choose Siason.
Okay, ma'am. So when we talk about depression, so for me, it all starts when a person experience some anxious or stress sa mga things that is happening in his or her life, and then on that moment dun na nakakaroon if yung person is nakakaroon na siya ng overthink on that thing na nagiging problem na sa kanya, and that is the time na nagiging depression na siya. It means kapag sa mental ng isang tao yung this kind of thing na sinasabi nga natin na depression. So it all starts with when a person is worrying on something and nakaka-affect na siya sa mental niya. So yun po yung depression para sa akin.
So maraming salamat, napakainam po. Ngayon ay dadako tayo sa guess me number 2. Open po kami. So sa number 3, gusto ko pong marinig ang explanation ni Ma'am Bacus. Okay, move on. Jerry ko na lang ulit.
Talk about naman gender discrimination, it comes up with my mind na it talks about na like for example he is part of the community of LGBT, so doon nakakaroon ng discrimination sa mga tao na yun, yung pag-discriminate sa kanila that they are not normal, same with the boys and girls. So yun po yung gender discrimination. There are some people na they really matter sa kanila kung ano yung gender ng isang person, and that is the time na nakakaroon ng discrimination.
Okay, very well said po. Thank you. Tama, gender discrimination. So let's move on. Yan po. So, yung clue, looking for a job. Okay, answer na. So, mainam. Nakakuha si Ma'am Catrice ng unemployed. Tama. Ngayon ay gusto kong marinig kay Ma'am Catrice yung explanation sa unemployed. Kahit konting explanation lamang po para makaproceed na tayo sa ating tatalakayan sa araw na ito.
For me, unemployment, yun yung mga naghahanap ng mga job, looking for a job. Pero dito sa Philippines, masyado talaga high standard when it comes to mga looking for a job, mga job na dapat mong pasukan. So, yun po. Kaya tayo dito sa Philippines, madaming tao na gustong mag-abroad because masyadong high standard dito sa Philippines.
Okay, maraming salamat. Mainam. So, nakuha nyo po ang ating mga katanungan. So, ngayon ay magpo-proceed na tayo sa ating ano nga ba talaga itong lesson na tatalakayin natin ngayon. So, tinatawagan ko po si Ma'am Abdulajid para i-discuss sa atin. Maraming salamat.
Okay, so good afternoon. Social and emotional problems. Next po. So the objectives or learning outcomes for this topic is, by the end of the topic, each student will be able to give the meaning of social and emotional problem. Each student will be able to identify the effects of social and emotional problem. Next. Social problem is any condition or behavior that has negative consequences for large numbers of people and that is generally recognized as a condition or behavior that needs to be addressed. This definition has both an objective component and a subjective component. Typically, the social problems process begins with claim makers who make claims that someone conditions ought to be considered a problem, that this problem should be understood in a particular ways, and that is needs to be addressed. Other people respond to those claims and rework them so that the social problem is constructed and reconstructed. So by the media, the general public, policy makers, the social problems workers who implement policy, and the critics that assess the policy's effectiveness. So according to Melton and Nesbet, 1971, a social problem is a way of behavior that is regarded by a substantial part of a social order as being in violence of one or more generally accepted or approved norms. Social problems are the general factors that affect and damage society, also known as social issues. We have 6 main causes of social problem. So the first one is unemployment. Unemployment is unable to find work. Included in this group are those people in the workforce who are working but do not have an appropriate job. Unemployment is such as thief, kidnapping, murder, and many others. So the second one is poverty. So when we say poverty, it is the one who lacks a casual or social acceptable amount of money or material possessions. And when we say poverty, it means lack of needs such as foods, money, and lack of opportunities. When people start doing things that can provide their needs, even if it is from bad deeds like stealing. So to increase or to solve poverty, we need to increase accessible to education. And the next one is urbanization or urbanization. So urbanization is refers to cities becoming permanently concentrated and relatively small areas forming cities. These are the main causes of urbanization. Rural to urban migration is happening on a massive scale due to population pressure and lack of resources in rural areas. So these are called push factors. Then when we say push factors, it is describes the reasons that individuals might immigrate from their homes, including poverty, lack of social mobility, violence, or persecution. So, Roxine.
Okay, to be continue in main causes of social problems. So, lack of education. Lack of education is the inability of people to acquire specialized skills such as cognitive skills, socialization, memorization of facts which are necessary for personal development and the development of society and the world economy. So, this lack of education is one of the causes of social problems. So, people without good education are at risk from a lifetime of a poor diet or long manual working and worsening mental health. So, lack of education can have serious effects on children and adults. So, and it can affect their health, living condition, and social situations. So, due to the lack of education, people do not take care of themselves because they are less educated about topics such as family planning and proper hygiene. So that is a lack of education. So the next is a gender discrimination. So gender discrimination is unequal or advantageous treatment of an individual or group and individuals based on gender. Sexual harassment is a form of illegal gender discrimination. It involves as massive violations of civil, political, economic, and social and cultural rights. So in gender discrimination, so our society is highly influenced by gender discrimination. So most of the domestic decisions are finalized by the male. So most of the time, discrimination may not be visible in the surface, even our religious scriptures. So are considered full of such as stories which show women under the subjugation of their male counterpart. So that is the gender discrimination. So the next is caste discrimination. So caste systems divided people into unique and hierarchical social groups. Those at the bottom of consider lesser human beings, impure of polluting to other caste group. So caste discrimination, lots of people are victimized in name of the caste. This happens because people have been divided as touchable and untouchables. So this sort of discrimination occurs because the so-called higher caste does not regard others as a fellow human beings. So they does not regard others as a fellow human being. So they are not aware that everyone is born equal. So that is a cause of discrimination. So that's it.
Ngayon ay pupunta na tayo sa kanina is na-explain ang social problems. Ngayon ay pupunta tayo sa emotional problem. Alamin muna natin ang ibig sabihin ng health. So, ang health is a natural and vital concern for all of us. Very important, di ba? Ang health natin. It's a dynamic process which changes every time. Nag-change paminsan healthy, paminsan hindi. Depende sa kinakain natin. So, paano natin ito makakamtan? So, according here, good health is a blessing and essentials. Very important. So, paano natin makukuha? Una is maintain physical exercise. Simpleng paglalakad, pwede na yan. Exercise. Then, early morning walks. Yun na, paglalakad. And play. Kahit anong games. Play mo yan, volleyball, badminton, sepak, whatsoever. Balanced diet. Sinasabi natin balanced diet, ito yung halimbawa mag-uulam tayo ng bukas, iulamin natin ng gulay, tapos sa iba na naman manok or something ganon. So basta pa iba-iba, which is healthy foods. Then proper rest, yun, bigyan natin ng sarili natin ng rest, di ba? Magpahinga tayo. And now also keep anxieties away. Alisin natin yung mga worries sa buhay natin kasi hindi yan nakakatulong sa atin, di ba? Wapo ba?
Yes po.
Okay, next tayo, naintindihan na ang health. Paano natin ma-maintain ang health? Ngayon, pupunta tayo sa disorders. So, kung hindi daw maganda ang health na yon, hindi natin na-maintain, pumapasok dito ang disorders. Disorder takes place if we don't maintain our health and get responsible about our food, also sleep. Hindi na magandang tinitake nating foods, hindi na magandang sleep natin. Ang sleep kasi, at least 8 hours, di ba? 8 hours po yan. Okay, naintindihan naman ang disorders. Ngayon ay pupunta tayo sa mental disorders. When we say mental disorders, it is an illness of the mind which affects behavior, feelings, mood, and mood of person. So, pag sinasabi nating mental disorders, ito yung, baga, ano niya na lahat, nandyan yung behavior natin. Then parang pag mayroon tayong mental disorders, nararanasan din natin ang behaviors, yung feelings natin iba na, and also yung mood natin, talaga tayong galit or wala tayo sa sarili. Okay, naintindihan po ba yung mental disorders?
Yes po.
Okay, next tayo. Next. Sana ay maintindihan nyo kasi important to. Kasama din ito sa mga let natin in the future. Mayayari talaga to. So, ngayon ay dadako na tayo sa emotional problems. Kung kanina is social problems, ngayon emotional problems. Emotional problems are not very specific. It's a correlation between the disorders with particular factors. Diba? So, bago ko i-explain yan, gumawa ako dito ng mga names nyo. Kumbaga, gusto kong marinig muna ang mga opinions nyo, interactions na mangyayari. Okay? It's okay. Explain yourself. Dapat proud tayo sa mga opinion natin. Sanchez! Maubos na itong mga names nyo. Hindi pa kayo nakakaano. Nandiyan naman na lahat. Nandiyan na ang emotional. Okay, Ma'am Sanchez.
I-explain lang kung ano yung naintindihan. Para sa akin, yung emotional problem is not very specific. It's a correlation between the disorder with particular factors like physical abuse. Yung emotional problem kasi is dito yan sa natin, di ba? Para sa akin, mas okay akong saktan mo na lang ako physically, not emotional kasi yung emotional kasi pwede siyang mag-lead sa depression or mga mag-lead sa atin sa mga suicidal thoughts natin. So, para sa akin, okay lang nasaktan mo ako physically kasi mawala naman yung physical yung mga pasa, mawala lang yun. Pero kapag sa emotional, mahirap talaga siya i-cure. Kasi doon napapasok si suicidal thoughts. Yun yung para sa akin.
So, maraming salamat. May pahugot si Ma'am Sanchez, mainam, magaling. So, tama. Emotional problems, ito yung mga, hindi siya specific, pero, ito yung, dahilan lamang nito yung mga, halimbawa, yung physical abuse, yung poverty, yung physical abuse, yung, halimbawa, pagbubugbog, nakikita nila, tapos poverty, sobrang kahirapan, being neglected, yung pinababayaan ng mga magulang, then, parental stress, over expectations, changes in rules, confusions, etc. Yan yung mga dahilan ng emotional problems. Naintindihan? Maraming salamat. May 5 points kayo, Ma'am Sanchez. Thank you. Yun, na-explain ko na rin ang emotional problems. Dadako na tayo. Next, Ma'am Jimenez. Okay, we have emotional problems and its solutions. So dito, pumapasok na dito ang emotional problems and its solutions. So, ang una, di ba nakita nyo kanina yung depression. Depression. Okay, so, ang depression is one of the imminent emotional problems. Imminent, kung sinasabi nating imminent, ito yung about to happen, nangyayari sa mga kabataan. So, it is a feeling of sadness and being helpless. Ito yung palagi nating nararamdaman na sobrang lungkot, akala natin wala nang kasiyahan, yung wala nang pag-asa, and can cause of medicine such as sleeping pills. Diba? Yan po yung cause niya, sleeping pills, high blood pressure medicines, and drugs. And drugs po. So, ang patient with depression needs medication due to this depressing feeling. So, ang extreme cases po ng depression ay pwede mag-lead sa suicide. So, tulad po nangyari sa noong December 22, 2022, doon sa KCC at Zamboanga, ay meron po nag-suicide na lalaki at sabi po doon ay dahil daw po yun sa depression. So, hindi natin alam, diba? So, ano nga ba itong mga solusyon ng depression? So, psychotherapy, magpaano tayo sa psychotherapy, sa antidepressants, and also make some exercises, healthy food, good sleep at least 8 hours, planning of life. Yung may mga plano tayo sa buhay natin na may mga pangarap tayo sa buhay na gusto ko pa maging isang guro para maka-inspired ako sa mga tao, ganyan. Yan ang isipin natin para maiwasan natin tong depressions. So, next ay dadako na tayo. Okay, we have phobia. So, phobia, ano ba tong phobia? Parang hindi siya, di ba, familiar. So, gusto kong marinig kay Ma'am Bentolero. Kung ano nga ba tong phobia?
So, hello guys.
Yes.
Para sa akin, yung pagkakaintindi ko about sa word na phobia, ito yung specific thing na nangyari sa isang person na ayaw niya nang maulit pa kasi may takot na siya sa outcome na possibilities na mangyayari ulit yung nangyari na before sa kanya. So, if mangyari yun sa kanya, so mafe-feel niya na ulit na naatake siya ng phobia niya. Yung takot niya, yung ganun.
Po siya. So, pag sinabi nating phobia, ito yung parang sobrang takot, trauma. It is a irrational fear or any specific thing. So, pag naging siya, ito yung tremendous. Pag sinabi nating tremendous, napakalaking napakalaking anxiety sa buhay natin at nakaka-disturb siya sa life natin. So, pag sinabi nating phobia fear, sobrang takot, trauma. Then, we have common phobias here. Closed places. Yung closed places, ito yung, halimbawa, yung sa elevator, yan, yung mga closed places. Pwede rin siya saan. Pag talaga siya, yung parang hindi yung tapos height. Pag sinasabi natin mga matataas na lugar. Kumbaga, mayroon tayong phobia sa matataas na lugar. Then, snakes. Di ba yan talaga is natatakot sa snakes. Ako din talaga ay natatakot talaga sa snakes. Sa needles, noon, may phobia rin ako sa needles, pero ngayon wala na. Sa injection yung example niyan. So, nakikita natin sa pictures, nandyan yung mga common phobias. We have aerophobia, which is airplane. Arophobia, which is yun na yung height. Trypanovia, yun na yung injections. Cynophobia, yung aso. And arachnophobia is the spider. Yun po. Nakikita natin yan. So, ano nga ba yung mga solution? Po? Okay, ma'am. Gusto niyo mong salita?
Yes, ma'am. Additional po sa phobia po, pwede po natin add dyan yung technophobia, which is a person na takot silang hawakan yung technology dahil, for example, the ages, ngayon po yung aged people. So, yung mga katandaan, ngayon nag-i-exist yung technology, natatakot silang explore yung technology, baka may mapindot sila which is magkukos ng kasiraan ng gamit or ng technology na hinahawakan nila. So one of pwede yung add dito sa phobia, ma'am, is yung technophobia.
Oh, maraming salamat. Na-appreciate ko yung pag-share mo, Ma'am Ventolero. Maraming salamat. Isa naman napagandang example. Tama yung sinabi mo. So, ano nga ba tong mga solutions niya? So, sabi dito, its treatment is to overcome by yourself. Wala talagang ano, kundi ang sarili mo, di ba? Isipin mo na you have internal strength sa loob-looban mo. Ikaw ang pwedeng makakasolve ng mga problem. Yun ang isipin natin. Also, rin behavior therapy. Pwede tayo konsulta sa behavior therapy, sa counter-conditioning, and the systemic therapeutic process. It also can help phobias out. Okay, naintindihan po ba ang phobia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you naman. So, next tayo. Okay, so we have emotional eating. According here, one of the most easily identifiable emotional problems. Gusto kong marinig si Ma'am Jimenez. Ano tong emotional eating? Identifiable daw siya. Okay, Ma'am Jimenez?
Ma'am?
What do you mean by identifiable?
Ma'am, dalawa yung gamit kong laptop.
Sige po, thank you. Sige po, thank you. So, pag sinasabi nating identifiable, ito yung madali siyang makilala. Madali mo siyang malalaman na, ay, emotional eating to. So, yung emotional eating, sabi ng psychologists say, emotional eating caused by stress. Stress. So, may nakilala, meron akong alam na isang vlogger, pinakasikat na vlogger, ang ganda ng katawan niya. Pero na-stress siya that time. Parang nasaktan siya sa love life, gano'n. So yun, ang ginawa niyang content para sa vlog niya is kumain siya ng kumain. So yun, paglabas niya, yun na, it affects obesity, nagiging mataba na talaga siya as in. Tapos palaging galit, anger, shame, guilt, loneliness, fear, at boredom. Yun po ang nararamdaman. So emotional eating. Di ba, ang madali lang talaga, marami lang siya ma-identify. Okay, tapos ano nga ba tong solusyon ng emotional eating? So, one is motivation. Di ba, napakaraming motivasyon. Even though mag-isa ka lang, may cellphone ka, mag-search ka sa YouTube, mag-search ka something. May mga motivation yan dyan. And so, yes, pwede kang mag-share. Share your thoughts, feelings, sa friends, sa relatives mo, sa mahal mo sa buhay. Pwede mo i-share kahit papano ay matatanggal yung kaunting stress na naramdaman mo at imbes na kumain ka ng kumain, bakit hindi ka mag-focus sa mga necessities sa life? Like sa studies mo, kung may work ka na, doon ka muna mag-focus. Huwag na muna ang kain ng kain. Kasi nga, dito, ika nga ng karamihan, too much can hurt so much. Diba? Ang sobrang pagkain na hindi nakakabuti, bagkus ay nakakasira pa sa ating kalusugan. Any questions?
None.
Ouch! Grabe. Hindi naman sa pero normal sa atin yan. Okay lang yan. May mga paraan naman. Okay. Any questions? Dako na tayo sa isang topic. Next, Ma'am Jimenez. May mga questions po ba dyan sa emotional? Ay, klaro pa si Char. Thank you, Sir Jericho. Okay, we have tapos na tayo sa depression, tapos na tayo sa emotional eating, tapos na tayo sa phobia. Ngayon ay dadako tayo sa stubbornness. So ano nga ba tong stubbornness? So gusto kong marinig si Ma'am Handa. Ma'am Handa, it's your turn. Mukhang natatakot sila. Hindi naman siya nakakatakot. Of course ay masaya magsalita sa unahan. Okay. Sige, proceed tayo. Wala naman gustong magsalita. Ngayon ay, ano nga ba tong stubbornness? Pag sinasabi nating stubbornness, pumapasok na talaga sa isip natin ang katigasan, tigas ng ulo, whatsoever. So is an emotional problem which happens due Kaya pala magiging matigas ang ulo ng isang tao dahil meron siyang bagay na ayaw niyang mawala. Yun daw. So pumapasok pala yung sa emotional problem. It will make person rigid, matigas. Ang ibig sabihin ng rigid is matigas about everything he has in his life. Yun. Nagiging matigas ang ulo niya dahil may mga bagay siyang gusto na ayaw niyang mawala. Yun po ang ibig sabihin ng stubbornness. Pumapasok siya sa emotional problem. So ngayon, ano nga ba tong solution niya? So madali lang po ang katigasan ng ulo. Ang solution niya is counseling is the best way to cure this emotional behavior or emotional problem. So ibig sabihin, konsulta po tayo sa counseling, sa mga expert. Pag sinasabi natin counseling, ito mga expert tulad ng mga psychologists or mga parents natin kasi expert na yan sila sa buhay. So any questions po regarding, meron po ba kayong gusto hagi, share, opinions? Okay, kung wala na, maraming salamat. Sana ay naintindihan nyo at nagbigay itong inspirasyon sa atin para maiwasan ang mga iba't ibang klaseng emotional problem na ito. Okay, proceed na tayo. Para dyan po, para sa dyan, ay ire-report po yan or bibigyang linaw sa atin ni Ma'am Doña Jolina. Ma'am Doña Jolina. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. So, hypersensitivity refers to having an extreme sensitivity to stimulation of senses which include the sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. So, the hypersensitivity can affect all of these senses which has a specific list of symptoms. An individual with hypersensitivity to smell or taste may find it difficult to eat a certain food, and an individual with hypersensitivity typically experience an extreme behavioral or emotional reaction to events that would other seems to be normal. So for example of this, a person may become hypersensitive. So they are become more sensitive when it comes to taste or even in touch. So next is the isolation. It occurs when someone is unable or unwilling to share their emotions with others. Some may be reluctant to discuss anything. So the isolation is the experience of being separated from others, which may result from being emotionally removed from community. Some of reason of isolation are bully at school, lack of self-confidence, and fear of getting hurt, or etc. So it is a mental condition in which you almost lose yourself. So in this situation, a person may think that he is not worth it. So she or he he would start questioning his life. Sometimes it becomes worse where an individual becomes suicidal, even they isolate themselves from the world. There are ways to overcome this emotional problem, like go to some park and feel the nature. So when you get closer to the nature, you may become calm and once you are calm, you may stop questioning life and start enjoying it. The aggression is the term that uses for those individuals who are self-destructive or cause of pain to others. Aggression has numerous forms. Can be a physical, mental, emotional, and verbal. Aggression has two types, and these are the impulsive aggression and instrumental aggression. So aggression is a word that we are use every day to characterize the behavior of others and perhaps even of ourselves. We say that people are aggressive if they yell or hit each other. Aggression has two types, yes, and these are the impulsive aggression and instrumental aggressions. Impulsive aggression is characterized by strong emotion, especially when it caused by anger or a trigger. For example of this, if another car cuts you in a traffic and you began yelling at the other driver. So in this situation, you are experiencing an impulsive aggression. So the instrumental aggression is also known as a predatory aggression. It marked by a behavior that intended to achieve a larger goal. So the best treatment for aggressive behavior depends on the underlying cause. But a therapist can always offer more guidance with identifying triggers and contributing factors. A panic attack is a brief episode of intense anxiety which cause the physical sensations of fear. This can include raising heartbeat, short of breath, and dizziness. So a panic attack occurs frequently and unexpectedly, and it can last from a few minutes or an half hour. But a physical and emotional effect of the attack may last for a few hours. We know we know that panic attacks are common to us, and it in a it can also be called an anxiety attack. So, the triggers for a panic attack and can include overbreathing, long period of stress, and activities that lead to a intense physical reaction. Example of this, exercise and excessive coffee drinking. Sometimes, any traumatic incident become the reason of panic attack. So the treatment can help reduce intensity and frequency of panic attacks, and it improve your function in daily life. The maintained treatment options are psychotherapy and medication. One or both types of treatment may be recommended depending on the presence of your history, the severity of a panic disorder, and whether you have access therapists who have a special training to the panic disorder.
So, yun po, natapos na rin. So, any questions, clarifications regarding sa topic? Meron akong hinahandang isang quote. Isang quote lang po para sa ating lahat. Inspirational quote. Wait, kita yan?
Yes po.
Basahin daw po, Ma'am Catrice. Basahin niyo po. Gusto ko pong marinig.
Mental health problems don't define who you are. There are something you experience. You walk in the rain and you feel the rain, but you are not the rain.
Yes, thank you. So, Batmat Haek. So, ngayon po ay gusto kong i-open lahat ng cameras nyo and para sa attendance natin. I-screenshot po ito ni Ma'am screen. Sige na po. Na rin tayo. Kasi marami. Si Ma'am Ma'am maraming salamat. Hope naman ay marami kayong naintindihan, which is mga gamit yan natin. Sure ako na mga gamit natin yan, yung mga social, emotional, social problems, mga gamit at meron talagang lalabas sa LET exam. Keep safe, everyone.
Thank you so much po. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe.
See you guys.
Good job, everyone.
Happy New Year. Sana
Sana
wala nang quiz.